Today, as I mentioned, is a significant day for multiple religions. And even though today, when we think of persecution of Jews, hostility towards Jews, we often think of our Arab cousins and some of the conflict that exists, particularly in the Middle East. But if one were to look at things historically, Christian persecution was much more rampant, much more intense, and resulted in many more casualties for the Jewish people. And among the many places where the Jews suffered a devastating loss was in Spain. Spain was a country that once was known for its golden years for the Jewish people, years of prosperity, physical prosperity, spiritual prosperity. And little by little, particularly as the Christians gained a stronger foothold in Spain, the persecution started to become more intense with conversions, forced conversions, fake conversions where Jews pretended to convert, but really were secretly trying to remain Jewish. And the Spanish Inquisition in the late 1400s was a time where those fake converts were investigated, they were interrogated, they were tortured, and as many as 600,000 were killed in an attempt to eradicate any insincere Christians. And in 1492, in particular, was the forced expulsion of the entire Jewish community from Spain. Roughly 200,000 Jews chose to be thrown out of their homes rather than go through a conversion. About 60,000 converted, or at least pretended to convert, and 200,000 left with almost nothing because they weren't allowed to take money or gold or silver, and had to find new lives, new homes. But the amazing thing and the scary thing is that most of the leading perpetrators of these crimes against humanity were actually descendants of Jews, people who many are considered Jews by Jewish law standards. And the vast majority of them were either Jews or Jewish descendants, self-hating Jews, people who were embarrassed about who they are and who they were to such an extent that they prosecuted and persecuted their former Jewish brothers and sisters. But even during dark times, God sometimes plants a little light. I believe the expulsion from Spain was March 2nd, if I remember correctly, 1492. And the very next day, Christopher Columbus was dispatched to set sail to find a new world. And look at the amazing irony. The same country that was intent on forcing Jews to convert or throwing them out of their kingdom, it was their expedition that ultimately led to the development of a new country that several hundred years later would be the safe haven for millions of Jews fleeing Europe and fleeing persecution and attempts at extermination. So even there in the darkest of times, our Father in heaven is always there for us. So perhaps as we say farewell to Chanukah, we could try to take that light with us. And even when we face dark times, we can remember that our Father in heaven always loves us and is always there for us. Thank you so much.